right. All right, we got just waiting for it to come through. Okay, there we go. All right. You're gonna call them peace particles in noon science war times. We are indeed in war times. Mentally, spiritually, and physically. All right, this is part 2 of 144,000 moon signs. If you look at the description, we got the book is out, and you can grab you a copy, and you'll be glad that you did. So I'm your host, Satuna Kenu NOONEBU. Satuna is the noon science way of saying Saturn. And since the day is Saturday, I'm wearing Auntie Satuna's name in honor of her day, as well as that's my ruling guardian orb because I'm a Capricorn. And so that's fitting for today. Anoop couldn't make it today because he had prior engagements. He may be in tomorrow night. If not, then me and Nebu will continue to ride shotgun for the nature of nature information. So that's my introduction. Go ahead, Ken.
True peace. True peace, kins and friends. Like I said, I am Nebu Re Uno Nunupu. And yes, this is part 2 of the BIAE. And we just keeping it pushing, bringing out the information, hoping everyone is enjoying the information as well and apply it to their life so they can make better decisions for Nupu and Noon. True peace.
All right, so we're going to get back to part 2 of the 144,000 in noon science. And so remember, even though we're discussing religious topics, remember Noon has to, by way of Nupu, have to reinterpret this stuff because it's been spellbound, and we've been showing y'all through evidence, experience, and reasoning since we started the Bible interpretation stuff over a month ago, that the Bible was heavily redacted, remixed, copied over, plagiarized from itself, plagiarized from other places, took events that happened to some of the Jewish people and remade it into a whole nother story. And that alone, just off the Akmos, the first story, should make people start throwing their Bibles away after we get through showing you what's going on. So you need it for now, but you definitely need to equal stand that religion is a spell, and everything you thought you knew is getting corrected. All right, Ken, is that good enough? What you see? Can you see it? I can't hear you.
Blow it up just a little bit.
All right, hold on.
Yes, that's great. That's great.
All right. All right, so we're going to start again. They have the power to shut up the heavens so that it will not rain during the time that they are prophesizing. And they have power to turn the waters into blood and to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. Nupu's version, they have power to shut up the heavens so that it will not rain during the time they are prophesying. Explanation. This has been explained how 4 orbs have the ability to affect Earth's atmosphere to cause these changes. Refer to NOONEBU Revelation Interpretation, chapter 6 and 7, pages 21 through 23. Now, when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up from the abyss will attack them and overpower and kill them. Their bodies will lie in the public square of the great city, which is figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. NOONEBU's version. All right. The beast is Osiris, the underworld god of the dead. Osiris is ghost god of all religions and the creator of the Caucasian race with the help of the moon god Tahuti and the earth god Geb 6,000 years ago, referred to introduction to nature books. Listen to Soundright Cosmic Recent Cosmic Peace Particles, 6/2/2025 update concerning this section. It was written edited that the two witnesses would be killed and then resurrected for all to see, correct? This is against the laws of nature. The same way a woman cannot have a virgin birth. In the case of the Jesus story, you cannot die, be killed, and brought back to life the same way before the death. The fact you two are said to come back to life is a proof you never died in the first place. NOONEBU is laughing via frequencies, right? And it shows that laughter has been linked to the generation of gamma brain waves, which are associated with the increased brain activity and cognitive functions like focus and concentration. Specifically, studies suggest that laughter may induce gamma wave frequencies in the brain, a state also observed in experienced mediators. This suggests that laughter might be a way to access a state of increased brain activity and synchronicity. Now, let me go a little bit deeper about this beast thing, because I'm giving it to you from the Noon perspective, because we have to draft Noon into the Bible and then make you understand that they're not the same thing. All right, so we need to look at what the books say about the beast first, and then we'll come back to that. All right, so just give me a moment. And we're gonna come back to that. Let me know when you can see that, Cam.
That's great.
All right, great. All right, so let's dig into this. Now this is coming out the 9-ball. It's coming out the 9-ball. I think this is okay. Count 3. Number 10. The Caucasian race is a monster called Beast in his own spiritual book known as the Holy Bible. And this means the race has the nature of a beast and is empowered by spirit forces called dragon and serpent, who is called Leviathan. And Leviathan produces ghost spirit. Most woolly-haired people are under the impression that a monster must be hideous and of a huge individual stature. In many cases, the Caucasian defies this description and thereby deceives the Ethiopian into thinking that the Caucasian is not a monster from the cemetery. A good-looking monster can easily deceive most people whom he has taught that a monster must be ugly. Dracula isn't. All right, so we go to another place. This is in the nature books. It says, listen to reason. It is written that the number 6, 666, is the number of a man. And the man is called the beast, to whom the dragon gives his power. The revelation and knowledge to be known here are this. Leviathan, who is also called the dragon and the serpent, is the god of the sea, also known as Poseidon, Neptune, Sobek, the crocodile god of mythology. The sea god is a part and member of the earth god. The earth god has many different members and parts. The secret is this. Leviathan, meaning the animal power of unity and levitation, represents all spirit beings, including all gods and goddesses that exist in the bottom half of the smack circle of order during the bottom half existence, which is now. Because Leviathan being the water powers of the earth god, remember, Leviathan or Lucifer was cast down from heaven, right, in the Bible, into the water. So that makes Leviathan, a sex force, is now part of the earth god, which is the waters, is the most powerful part of the earth god. In the book of Revelation, say, woe to those on the earth because the devil has come down to you and he's in the sea. That's where he was at, in the water. It said, is the strongest member and part of the earth god, plus the fact that the earth god is naturally the dominant power over the earth by way of the sun. The underworld god is also called member and part of the earth god who share this underworld power with the moon god. So here you see three gods that are working together. You got Leviathan, which is a sex force, is part of the earth god known as Poseidon and Neptune and all of that. Aquaman, all right, Namor, right? Then you have, because that's what this stuff is. They're showing you through movies, they're consolidating these forces into characters. All right, then you got the earth god, then you got the underworld god, Osiris, and the moon god. So you got the moon god, earth god, underworld god, and Leviathan. That's four major powers. And they all fall up under the term the beast. Right? Now, it says we have to go back. The Caucasian is being called the beast in the Bible because their Bible is the most typical book of what's going on, especially in Matthew 24, chapter 24. But it says here, and the man, right, is called the beast. And we already showed you right here who's the man. He tell you right here. He's using them in here. The Caucasian race is a monster and called the beast in his own spiritual book known as the Holy Bible. So when you jump back in the nature books, it clearly is telling you what the Revelation was supposed to say, but they covered it up. It is written that the number 6, 66, is the number of a man. But remember, the Caucasian number is 333. And that's what a dragon is 666, which is 6 ether. But 666 gave their power to 333. See, so that the Caucasian is the beast. And the dragon, which is 666, gave his power to the Caucasian. Right? So we come back. Now it says, it goes further, so we're going to keep going on to the 6 down here. Now, listen to reason. So existing during the cycle of death, the bottom half of the smash circle order means whichever person, group of persons, nation of persons, or race of persons, the head of the spirit world, which is Leviathan, decides to select and support. That is, give the ruling and controlling spirit power to mentally, materially, and spiritually. It's called the beast for 7 reasons. This is why the Caucasian, after all he's done, can still talk down against other races, especially the black race, because Leviathan has equipped the Caucasian race with the best of everything. So that's why people like Charlie Kirk and the rest of them can come out and talk bad about the intelligence and the whole black people need DEI and affirmative action. All this stuff is true because of what Leviathan has done. Because the head of the spirit world, it says, the head of the spirit world decides to select and support. That is, give the ruling and controlling spirit power mentally, materially, and spiritually. That's why they're running it. And as far as we're concerned in America, they got the most money, which is materialistically, right? They got better mentality because the spirit beings keep us ignorant under their mentality and still boosting them up, even though their kingdoms is horrible. And spiritually, they got the biggest churches, they make the most money, all of that. So Leviathan is making sure the beast stays up top. Now, it says it's called the beast for several reasons. One, We all live in the world of animals, the zodiac, the bottom half of the circle of order. That's the first thing. So an animal rules animals, and a beast naturally so rules beasts, right? This is why they fight and shoot and kill. This is why you see Israel going at Palestine, Iran hitting back. These people are beasts, animals. But the Caucasian is the top beast because he was the first one to drop an atomic bomb that could destroy the planet. You can't get no more beastly than that. Right? 2, the beast, the ruler, is called number 666 because he or she or they, look, get their ruling powers from the negative 666 cycle forces of nature controlling the bottom half of the smash circle of order. 3, he, she, or they who get their ruling powers from the negative 666 cycle of nature are likely to rule like a beast. Look, unjustly, unreasonably, and selfish to other than their own kind. This is why you always hear black folks talking about how they keep hollering about what? White privilege, white privilege, white privilege, white privilege. That's because the spirit beings have made it where they're going to look out for their own. See, the thing is, we're already seeing the reality, but the spirit forces got us so dumbed down. So we only can see the results, but we don't see the cause. So again, the 666 is giving 333, which is the white race, all of his luxuries, right? 4, he or she or they who get ruling power from the negative are what? Apt to control with an iron hand and deal with others deviously, devilishly, and evilly. This is why you keep seeing black people hollering about how they keep getting mistreated by the police, but the police is not the biggest part of the arms and fists of America. You got so many other groups, but we so stuck. Go ahead, what you say?
No, I was just getting ready to say they just part of it.
And they the lower on the totem pole.
Yep.
What about the CIA and the FBI and all these other groups that we don't know? And secret forces and the Green Beret, all these different people, special forces that they can call in to do something and frame somebody else. You never know. But the police is giving way too much power when they're on the ground with you. They're not doing all of the greater evils. But this is what it's trying to tell you. And unjustly and unequally. This is why you keep hearing black people keep talking about equal treatment, unequal treatment, because it's not supposed to be equal treatment. That was a lie. MLK and them fell for that lie. And they spellbound the Negroes for 40 years after they killed him. The number this writer represents is 999 in the positive. Who is NOONEBU? The powers and forces of almighty nature who resurrect the mental dead and give them true guidance, including the negative 666 forces of nature, flesh and spirit. Let it be remembered, let it be known. So that's showing you that the Zoop is so negative that it lies to the very spirits that it uses. NOONEBU has to inform the negative forces of nature, flesh and spirit, that y'all following some foolishness. Y'all don't even know you're being lied to. See? So I just wanted to bring that in so people can equal stand, the beast. All right. So now we're going to jump back to it because what we're doing is demystifying Revelation chapter 11 because we don't want people taking this information the wrong way. So I have to make sure I take you through every room, right? So you can not say, oh, well, they didn't make it that clear. No, we're making it very clear because this is very serious. All right? We don't want nobody to misunderstand or misinterpret anything. All right? So let me go. Huh?
I'll just say it's self-explanatory.
All right? So now, gamma brainwave. These are the fastest brain waves, typically measured above 35 hertz, and are linked to various cognitive benefits like enhanced focus, concentration, memory, and information processing. Laughter and gamma waves. Research suggests that laughter can trigger the production of gamma waves. This is thought to be related to the intersection of excitement and inhibition, which is characteristics of both laughter and certain meditative states. Laughter meditation. Some studies even suggest that laughter can induce a similar state of brain activity to meditation where gamma waves are also prominent. All right? This topic will be answered not by new information, but by what you already know. If the two witnesses were religious and Zupu sent them, then they would indeed be killed due to the rules of religion. Why do I say that? Because, especially Christianity, they believe that their God believes in scapegoatism and killing somebody else for somebody else's wrongdoing. That's in the DNA of the Bible. When Adam and Eve broke the sun god laws of sex, right? The Bible editors, right, edited that. When they got caught, they was naked, so they say the Lord killed the animal, gave him some clothes to put on. So now an innocent animal had to die because they did something that the animal was innocent of. That's the first problem. Then later on, Cain kills Abel. Instead of giving him what he gave out, because we knew the Lord knew about what life and death was, because the book said he killed an animal. So if you'll kill an animal for an innocent act, why not kill the person who killed another person? Mm-hmm. But what did he do? He put a mark on Cain and then put a threat out there that if anybody get him, he gonna be against them 7 times. So now the Lord protects the wrongdoer. Mm-hmm. So when you get down to the Revelations of chapter 11, what did the Bible editors do again? They said the two witnesses is going to be rose up and killed. Here we go with the Jesus thing again. This is a sacrificing God of death, right? Which if y'all go into my YouTube, I did a couple of videos showing you Osiris' cult is heavy into the Bible, especially the book of Revelation. All right? This is a problem that you in the religious world have been lied to, but it ain't just a lie, it's the spells that the Bible is under. It's plenty spells on the Bible. Some from the Hebrew route, some from the Kabbalah route, some from the Phoenician route, and a whole lot from the Kemet route. Because Tahuti and Osiris created those religions. That's why I'm saying that. Now watch this. However, these two, you two, are Bunu, Nupu, and Tarkino, Unu, Nupu, are NOONEBUs. Usil, Osiris, wanted to instill fear of you all's coming battle. However, spirit being knows the nature of nature better than human beings, but they do not know better than us, 9 mind, 6 mind, and the orbs. So let us remind Usil, Wessa, Osiris, even though you two NOONEBUs have temporarily forgotten certain quotes, you must be reminded. Reminder number 1. Just as there are forces that can foretell the future, there are also forces that can retrace the past. And Amenubi Rakapata, writer of Bible interpretations and explanations, has access to all forces necessary to retrace and foretell, and this fact made these booklets possible. One authorized and appointed by the forces of nature is given connection and access to the powers of what? The sun, the moon, and powers of planet Earth, that he may take his place in the sun, meaning universal affairs. And all of his kind, as disclosed by nine ether, will also be given what? The same connections and powers. So once again, it's telling you that all of us have access to the powers. All right, so what we're doing is peeling back the layer of the misinterpretation of what the witnesses is. Book 2 that I'm currently writing is going to go into this way more deeper. But this is the introduction because of the constant, consistent spell of Ghost God is causing so much problems that people's mind is shrinking from the wrong information. That's why I asked Anoop to bring back last night about that part where incorrect information causes the brain to shrink and get attacked from the ignorance. So this is why you see a bunch of black people that have been enslaved by the Bible have now turned into worshiping the same forces that put them in there using the Bible. The only difference is they just saying now God is black or Jesus is somewhat dark or black. Nothing else changed in the Bible. They took the same book and blackened it up and now running around as if they know what they're talking about. You are under the spell. We told you what happened when the Hyksos Jews went to Memphis over 3,000 years ago and got that magic from out of Memphis under Khufu, and they took it with the Tahuti moon god's help, aka Yahweh, who y'all keep talking about. Yahweh Shai is the same deity from Kemet. All right, and we done showed you the spells, so now you know, right? So let's keep going, because he was telling me that Afro Uno had all these connections and said later on all of his kind will get it. Not only do you all have access to us, nine mind in the orbs, but you all have access to our protection. Remember this well. So I got to take you through here slow, because I don't want nobody to trip up, and I don't want nobody to run out getting spooked and start saying things that are not being said. That's very important. Nobody wants that for you. All right? Y'all got to get out of the spirit of Osiris martyring yourself, because it's not that Set killed Osiris, it's Osiris is killing everybody else. Because he done made all these people Set. Because he's what? Setting you up. Every time y'all run out to, oh, I'm the Messiah, I'm Jesus, pow! Got him. Got him. Y'all don't understand what's going on. All of y'all out here running around trying to get killed. The Osiris and Set legend in reverse. Y'all out here on the street corners running around trying to get killed because your God is a killer. That's not your natural God either. The Lord God in the Bible, that's Tahuti, aka Shiva, aka Lord Shiva, aka Tahuti, aka Thoth, aka Hermes Trismegistus, aka Hermaphrodite. Y'all don't know what you're messing with. All right? So we have to make sure it's set and said in such a way that nobody can get confused, you or the enemy. All right? They knew this day was coming. That's why NOONEBU had us come the way they had us come. Reminder number 2. Listen to reason. Read. Listen to reason, as the Hebrews say. As this scribe stated previously, religion has served its purpose and thereby has been fulfilled, except for the ending called judgment and balancing time by the positive powers and negative force of almighty nature. So it is true and binding. If this writer, Afro-Unu, is murdered by anyone whosoever or anything for any reason, by any means, he has requested and predicts that all enemies of the Ethiopian race be destroyed and their roots completely eliminated, and all enemies of justice and equality be terminated once and for all, leaving alive only the elite and elect. Those innocent people, keywords, those innocent people. That means all people definitely chosen to what? Survive Armageddon. Do not let these ignoramuses and these fake pro-black type groups, which are really cults, tell you that the black race is the only race that NOONEBU is concerned about. We are NOONEBU's priority, yes indeed, because we are the originals on the planet Earth, descendant from the originals. If we leave, everything goes. All right? So NOONEBU is very clear. Those who are definitely chosen to survive Armageddon by way of what? Noon and NOONEBU, not Christianity, not Islam, not Hinduism, not Buddhism, not Vodou, not Hoodoo, not Sufism, not the Gnosticism. All these things on the planet Earth have caused nothing but hell since they've been here. You ain't gonna be able to name one religion or an offspring that don't have blood on their hands. None of your religions or your gods are innocent, and they cannot make you innocent. When you got a religion that tells you that the only way you can meet your God is dying, you got a problem. You got a serious psychopath on your hands. And all of y'all gods are killers. How do you know? Look at what the book says and look at the followers. Look what happened to Charlie Kirk. He was killed by a Christian, a Mormon at that. Death is all that you all know. You don't know reasonability. You know descendant reason. This is why all of you are running around here, especially in America, Muslims trying to set up their own Sharia law in New York and Texas. Do you know that's going to be a problem? Black people should be very upset because Muslims put black people in slavery for 1,500 years using Islam. There should be no black Muslims in any group of Islam, period. Because of the energies that guide and misguide all these religions. I'm not just talking about Islam. I got family and close friends that's in these religions all over, but they all are under the spell, no matter how you look at it. None of those religions can cure the problems on the planet Earth. They all had over 1,000 years to try, and they've done nothing to increase the better living standards because religion doesn't have those standards, right? It don't have the power to do so. All right. So look, so leaders and rulers, this is what Afro said. He gone now, 2011 in May. So leaders and rulers of planet Earth, it is most wise and in the what? Best interest of all concerned. He talking to the elite. He talking to all the governments of the planet, seen and shadow governments. Not only to allow this messenger of NOONEBU nature to accomplish his mission and assignment by Almighty Nature in the name NOONEBU, but likewise help them become a part of the process of surviving Armageddon. He telling them, y'all gonna survive if you help me with my mission. But did they help Afro-NOONE? No. What they did was they sat and watched York run around disrespecting the information and plagiarize it because they are more in unification because of York's moon god allegiance, in America being the moon base, and York being part of the sex god, which is Shiva, the hermaphrodite moon god, sex god Tahuti, is why they allowed him to do that. And he used York to steal the information. Okay? And I'm gonna show you that at the end. Ken, remind me to pull out that Afro-NOONE reminder at the end. All right.
Okay.
So I don't want to go all the way over there and look. I ain't have to pull it out. All right.
Okay.
I'm winging this in the moment. All right. The war of what? Ending the old and beginning the new. Let it be remembered always, let it be known. But the elites are so dumb and so arrogant, they keep hollering the New World Order, not knowing they're not going to be a part of it. The real New World Order started in February 5th, 1962, when the end of the moon cycle technically ended, but it's a war coming that's going to wipe all that out the way. Okay? It says, let it be remembered, let it be known. All right, it said, members of the Ethiopian race, black kinky haired people, talking to you now. Study this science, learn it, understand it, accept it, and practice it to the best of your ability by doing it and advocating it to other members of the Ethiopian black race. Because NOONE is our own culture science by nature and reason. See, that's different. All these other religions that our people run around with are not ours by nature. Why? Because they all had to convert to it. Just like you are a man or female by nature, I don't have to convert to be a man. You don't have to convert to be a woman, but you have to convert to be a trans. You got to convert to be all these different genders that people saying exist, which it doesn't. It's only male, female, and neuter gender. Those is only 3 genders. Everything else is made up. So it says, look, NOONE is our culture science by nature and reason. Therefore, do not let any person or thing mislead you or frighten you about it. Okay, so this is what we need to equal stand at. So when you hear NOONE and it makes sense, you're like, man, let me check that out. Don't let them religious nutcases come in here and tell you, oh, you know you're going to go to hell if you follow anything but Jesus. Oh, you know Allah's not going to be pleased with you, brother, if you leave, Sufi Islam or Sunni Islam or the Nation of Islam or the Moorish Science Temple, brother. You already in hell. They done showed you what they got to offer. Do not let any person or spirit or thing mislead you or frighten you about it. Introduction to the Nature, Book 1, number 353 in part. Listen to sound right cosmic peace particles. This threat, although made positively, was not just to human beings, but to spirit beings who classify as rulers themselves. The same way it was tedious to settle into Afro-NOONE's mind and keep him safe, it was just as tedious to get Tar from Georgia to New York to meet you all and continue to protect you all. Tar was infected by COVID-19, but we the oils wouldn't let him die because the smack must continue. All right? And this is what I'm trying to tell you. I had with Anoop's help, and Marsha and Kwiwaopu had to beat COVID. It took me 3 months to beat it natural because of the job that I worked at was in a grocery store, and I was around people. And my job was considered what's the word they use? It wasn't significant, but it was important because people still had to go out and eat and all that, even with the quarantine being heavy as it was. So it said, tell Kwiwa Upu and Tabuna Una on that they were correct, that you and the new would not be harmed. We would never send you to the United Nations for any reason. LOL, shaking our oars. That's an inside joke. It was 6 reasons trying to deceive Utah because they, Zubahu and Zubaha, wanted to confuse you by way of the Bible. But remember, it is a book of spells, and you were reading it quite heavy trying to decode it. This is natural. Eventually, you learn to see through Zubahu and Zubaha's mental and visual deception. Let this be known. Osiris would love to kill you both, but he must follow the rules. He can only attack you through your ignorance, and you bear the blame. So be vigilant and stay following sound, right reasoning. All right, we've been at this 40 minutes. Love it. All right. Verse 7. Now, when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up from the abyss will attack them and overpower and kill them. Their bodies will lie in the public square of the great city, which is figuratively called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. Explanation. Listen to Sirach Cosmic Peace Particles. This attack will take place digitally in Times Square in New York, Manhattan. The world will watch you to be slandered. Times Square used to be called Sodom and Gomorrah in the 70s and 80s. The Bible changed Gomorrah to Egypt for deception purposes. The New York Times, Sodom and Gomorrah, January 8th, 1924. Globe, adults, only all about sex of all nations. Janarius, also sexualities, all in color. By the 70s, Times Square had been a veritable Sodom and Gomorrah as the red light capital of the Eastern Seaboard. The Great White Way offered a new kind of Broadway show any time or night or day, peddling pleasures of the flesh on the streets. Triple X movie theaters, strip clubs, brothels, sex stops that lay as far as the eye could see. Rebels, outcasts, misfits, hustlers, criminals, artists, and liberties flocked like moths to a flame in search of prostitutes, promises untold. But few survived to tell the tale, their stories disappearing into oblivion. This is Times Square. This is the Great Square. See? The book tells you, the public square. A lot of religions know that America is called the Great Hall, but that's partially true. But it's not correct. Partially true. Okay? We're going to get to that. The place where their Lord was crucified is, speaking of New York, holding Good Friday celebration of Caesarea Ptolemy the 15th, aka Jesus Christ crucifixion, April 18th, 2025. In 2025, Good Friday, New York City will be observed on April 18th. 666 equals 18. The city will likely see a variety of religious services, processions, and events commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus. One notable event is the annual Way of the Cross procession, which will be a joint effort between Roman Catholic and Greek Orthodox churches. The Daily News. This is in June 2nd, 2025. And a lot of this information is being released now to show y'all what time it is, because y'all have no idea what time of day it is. You're confused. You can feel it, but you don't know it. All right? For 3.5 days, some from every people, tribe, language, and nation will gaze on their bodies and refuse them burial. The inhabitants of the earth will gloat over them and will celebrate by sending each other's gifts, because these two prophets had tormented those who live on earth. But after the 3.5 days, the breath of life from God entered them, and they stood on their feet, and terror struck those who saw them. Then they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, "Come up here, and they went up to heaven in a cloud while the enemies looked on. Sound like a Marvel movie, don't it? You can't allow the spell to trick you. This is not what this is not what will happen. Okay? A lot of our people out there in the conscious community, known and unknown, y'all know this Bible cannot be trusted in the way that it's written. But Sound Right Reason, NOONEBU, knows exactly where everything is at. And it's being released for y'all's sake. Okay? Now, NOONEBU's version, I just always put the verses in. All right, so he said, come up here in the heaven in the cloud while the other enemies looked on, right? Explanation. Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Peace Particles Reasoning. Now remember this right here, particles is very important. Lock that in your mind. All of this will be streamed through Times Square and other digital outlets through what is called cloud networks. Because everything is digital now. They're always asking you to store your stuff on a cloud. And this is all the types of clouds that run around America. And you look, you got enterprise networks, the branch offices, this SaaS application, the public internet, public clouds, users. Then you got the FWAS, legacy, WAN, the DDoS, the Azure V1, the DLP, the DNS, DNSF, SF, the MPLS, direct internet access, ZTNA, broadband, 4050, RBI, CSB, all of this stuff. All of this is your data swirling around because they're looking. They've been watching because they know that that's toward the end of them. What you think Palantir is about? Peter Thiel, Alex Carr, the UN Agenda 21, 2030, 2035, 2045, all of that. Why you think all of the information and data is being sold and resold through Twitter and Facebook and Instagram? How many times have Mark Zuckerberg done went to court for data breach? He done been at least 3 times they done said something to him. Including results for DOS, Times Square broadcast through cloud networks. I said, yes, Times Square does broadcast through what? Cloud networks. What did the Bible say? Come up here. And they went up to heaven in a cloud while their enemies looked on. Everything is it's digital now, everything. They trying to digitize human beings. Let Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum and all of these people playing with quantum computers and putting your consciousness into a cloud. Now look, Times Square does broadcast through cloud networks. Specifically, GenVid and Intel demonstrated the use of cloud gaming technology to turn a Times Square billboard into an interactive game. Look at that. They want to put you in the video game, make you the game. How many movies have we seen people putting on these things, these goggles and stuff way before they had it on real video games with the VR system? All the way back to Tron in the early 1980s, Tron, for those who old enough to remember that. What about Auto Man? That was a different version of Tron and and Knight Rider. Auto Man was a man that was pretty much able to, at night, he only come out at night because he was hooked to the computer, and he can turn he can use his brain to turn anything he needed. When he was driving in a car, he could make it a car, a helicopter, all that. Go look it up, Auto Man. I'm telling my age by saying this. Go back and look up Auto Man. What about the $6 million man? What are y'all talking about? All this stuff was computer generated all the way back to the Transformers. Silverhawks. They was part human and part technology. Brave Star. Come on, man. Now, here's why this is happening to some related information. Cloud playout. Cloud playout systems are being used by broadcasters to manage and distribute content, including live feeds and recorded shows, to various platforms like TV stations, websites, and mobile apps. Look at this. A USA cloud network refers to a collection of cloud service providers operated within the United States, offering various cloud computing services like storage, computer, and networking. These providers include well-known names like Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Go back and watch the movie Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise. All of this stuff is there. All right? I thought we'd be in 51 minutes, okay. Listen to sound right, cosmic peace, particles, reasoning. As we, Nine Mind has stated, Utah and NOONE will be protected mentally, physically, and spiritually by Marsha and Satuna, respectfully. Here's your matchup proof. Marsha, which is another name for the planet Mars, is 60 and 39. Gawain, this is a NOONE's birth name. His Guyana name. Look, 60 and 39. He lines up. And Marsha is Aries, so that's his ruling planet. That's his auntie. That's his protector. See, everything got to line up. And I know it may sound weird to a lot of y'all in the beginning, but ain't nothing more weirder than listening to Polite and Nature Boy and Young Pharaoh, Umar, all them crazy folks that Sonetta had on his channel, Nawapians, Sabians, all these weirdos. All of them people are crazy. But guess what? They always say, they say the best for last. We watch all of these people come up and go down. All of them. It wasn't just black people. There's plenty non-black people that did the same thing. Crazy as a Bessie bug. Yeah, Jabari, all of them. What's the other one? I don't want to leave him out. Jamal. What's his whole name? What is it, Ken?
Rashad Jamal.
Yeah, Rashad Jamal and all those different clones. These people are mentally dead. That's why nature is removing them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are in your way.
And you still got.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you still got people on TikTok putting up his videos, and people that's looking for information is actually finding some of the stuff he did in the past and is passing it on to other people. I'm like, I just scroll right on by it.
Right, because they meant this, but they are part of the moon cycle madness.
Yeah.
And they all come out and steal each other information. And, you know, I can't forget some of the older guys, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, all these people are gone because they all are connected into this whole buffoonery of moon cycle mist. All right? Orb Saturn, 61. JWJR, that's my initials, 61. That's my government, James West Jr., 61. Regular people. Y'all around here thinking Iron Man or somebody gonna show up. That's y'all is mentally going. Listen to reason. Then the question 2, what happens to organized religions at the advent of who? NOONEBU and NOONE. They might be very upset and disturbed. See, that ain't happened yet. See, all this lines up when they say the two witnesses pop up. Look, and in such the past as concerning philosophers and reformers, some members of organized religion might seek to harm the new order of persons and things. But by such thoughts, they would do more positive help than negative harm, because nothing can stop Almighty nature from taking its proper course. See, this is what happened when you get up here. Because this is the religious version. Because this is what they want to do. This is what they want to do. For 3.5 days, some of the people of tribal language names were gazed on their bodies and refused them burial. See, they want to, they in their book, they harm those individuals. See, they say for 3.5 days, some from every people, tribe, language, and nation will gaze on their bodies and refuse them burial. The inhabitants of the earth will gloat over them and will celebrate by sending each other gifts, because these two prophets, which we're not claiming none of that, that's religion, have tormented those who live on the earth. See, it ain't happened yet. It's on the way, though. See, it's on the way. But I told you, we done showed y'all, go back and look at all the 30-something videos before these two. And we showed y'all how they changed the words out of their places. Even the Quran says that. That the Jews and Christians have changed words out of their places. The Quran is guilty of the same thing. But I'm just using that as a point. All right? So NOONEBU says the same thing. It says it right here. Some members of organized religion. It didn't say nobody else. It says what? Religion might seek to harm. Look what happened to Charlie Kirk. This is what religions do. Israel attacking Palestine. That's what? Religion. When you look at all this stuff, Democrats, Republicans are religious. These are different forms of Christians. If you was to throw the New Testament on it, there'll be the Pharisees, which is the Republicans, and the Sadducees, which is the Democrats. All this is religious tomfoolery. And all they doing is hurting each other, killing each other, because that's what they do when truth and facts are lined up. If they'll do that to somebody like Charlie Kirk or Malcolm and all that, who didn't have all of the stuff we have, just imagine when you bring the full Monty. That's why NOONEBU is telling it. They might seek, because he's talking about religion. And right now we on the moon base. This is supposed to be a Christian country. So the most threatened religion out of all the ones here is going to be Christianity. Why? Because it's NOONEBU and NOONE. 2, and it's the Ethiopians that's bringing the message. 3, they hate us to this day. They still killing us. They still doing all kind of tomfoolery, turning our women against us, casting spells, got us on welfare, locking us up, all of that. So when the same individuals that y'all was using your religion to harm them, what happens when the same race produces the people that's telling you y'all end is right around the corner? This is why they play games with the 42 months. Y'all gonna see. Now listen to this, and we're gonna stop it, and we're gonna do let the Ken say his little part, and then we're gonna come right back with a part 2. Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Peace Particles. This supports why the original 2 witnesses, NOONEBU and NOONE. Let me read that again. Listen to Sound Right Cosmic Peace Particles. This supports why the original 2 witnesses, NOONEBU and NOONE, will be physically represented by Tar Kinu Unu NOONEBU and a NOONEBU, right? Represented, right? We just want the people way in the back with the headphones on, sitting in the FBI and the CIA van across the street, right? Or the ones sitting there using the Wi-Fi to pick up on it. Now they don't went up from 5G to 9G because they know what time it is. That's why they telling y'all aliens coming. They gonna do anything they can to make y'all don't look at the 2 on the ground. All right? So relax. Learn to laugh a little bit because their time is all the way up. You just got a little bit more time. That's it. All right? Look what it said. Let me go back down. Who will be physically represented by Tar Kena Ununupu and Anupu Ununupu, who will bring in this fear. In this fear that mankind's spirit forces know is coming. And this is what the verse Revelation chapter 11, 4-7 is speaking of. That's why they saying they're going to be killed. They changed it around because they wanted the threat to be there. This is why Afro said the same thing. That's why Afro said right here, if this writer, Afro is murdered by anyone, whosoever, or anything, for any reason. And by the way, this go for all of us NOONEBU, especially as on the front line. So we can say the same thing, because we're writers too. Remember, he said all of his kind gonna have the same gifts. So he writes, and I write, and Anut writes, Nebu writes, Narukaru writes, Marsha writes, Kui Raupu writes, and the list goes on and on. So this covers us all. See, the Christians like to be covered in the blood. I don't want to be covered in the blood of Jesus. I want to be covered by mind and the positive forces of nature. So this is why he says, if Abraham is murdered by anyone whosoever, anything, for any reason, by any means, see, he going across the whole board. He is requested and predicts that all enemies of the Ethiopian race will be destroyed and their roots. So that means all them little underground bunkers y'all been spending trillions of dollars on and stealing the world's food and taking it down there. You know that's a tomb, right? You know that's how the pharaohs went out. When they died, they put jewelry, food, gold, all kinds of stuff down there. Y'all doing the same thing, dummies. Y'all done built your own tomb and think you're gonna survive. Ridiculous. It says their roots completely eliminated all enemies of justice and equality. See, that's very powerful. Because when you're an enemy of justice and equality, you're a real serious bully. And this is what black people keep talking about. It's an injustice every time you cut the TV on. Where's the equality that y'all promised us in the 60s? Why you think black people been hollering no justice, no peace? Because we are specifically tied in to the end. We're the poster children and the timestamp of that it's time for them to go. Complete opposites. Those innocent people definitely chosen to survive Armageddon by way of Noon and Nupu. See? So leaders and rulers of planet Earth is talking to all of them. It is most wise and in the best interest of all concerned, not only to allow this messenger of Nupu nature to accomplish his mission and assignment by Almighty Nature in the name Nupu, but likewise help him become a part of the process of surviving Armageddon. The war of ending the old and beginning the new. Because the war is brewing. They didn't help Afro when he was here. But we still here. So the message is still on the table. You still got a little bit of chance. Because we watching them suck up all the money so they can give it to Palantir and all these other different groups. And people are still hollering that they broke. Folks is losing jobs. They said over 300,000 to 600,000 black women have been displaced in the workforce or left. They got to pay for that. They got to pay for that. Because that's them still finding ways to keep us destitute and keep our women stressed out. And then making them whores for everybody else. The black man, he can't even afford his woman because of what the Caucasian have done. A lot of men are lonely to this day because of what they've done in the 60s. All right, so I'm going to stop. This is at an hour and 5 minutes. We're going to end this and come right back. NOONEBU, drop what you want to drop and take us on out of here.
What about Afro Uno's reminder? You hear me, Ken?
Go ahead. What you say?
No, I was saying Afro Uno's reminder.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True peace. Yeah. For the most part, when you was mentioning the tombs and then they taking down everything down in the tombs and so forth, um, the water and all the good food, that kind of coincide with the article I shared about what's going on in New Jersey and New York underground, where they was hearing explosions. They didn't know where it was coming from. Kind of found out it was rocks exploding underground. So when that so that right there is gonna be part of their demise in them tombs. Everything around them is gonna explode and they're gonna lose everything they got down there, including themselves, because a lot of them is living down there, so to speak, right now.
Mm-hmm.
So 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 this information is pertinent, important for all to get on board and just keep following the information. And you will you will be mostly and appreciated of um of how your life will basically turn out from the point that you start studying and staying with it. True peace.
All right, we got New Karu done snuck in the back door. I didn't even know he was in there. Ken, if you want to say a few words before we close this one out, and then we're gonna do a U-turn and do another one.
True peace, kin and friends. Yes, I've been here listening, and it's definitely that time. Definitely that time. Nature's calling, and this is something different. This is not that. This is something else. Um, so I think everyone that's out there listening, stay in tuned. Keep going back to the other videos and get prepared for more because we have a lot more in store to bring the people with fresh eyes into this information. Some of the older people, it's hard to get adjusted to. um, they're mentally sick, and spirits has already got them fully possessed, and we need fresh eyes on this. People that has a mind that can that's in tune, that's ready to go up the cycle, up the smack, ready to revolve back because this is just a temporary status. It's not forever.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we finna close this one out real quick at 1 hour and 8 minutes. That's a 9. So we'll be back in a few.